Hello, everyone, and this is going to be another review for Greta Gerwig's latest film, Little Women. It's a much anticipated film that was released sort of late in 2019. We're getting to it for 2020, so we'll just get right into it with thoughts. So we have a ton of hosts for this. Everybody was really excited to talk about those small girls. And I guess I'll just go with general thoughts for myself first, real quick, and then I'll turn to my other hosts. But just off the bat, I had an amazing time with Little Women. One of the things that I think is really funny is the circumstances for how I ended up watching it, because me and my mom were getting ready to go to the movies, and we were like, "Oh yeah, family, we're gonna go see Jumanji 2," and we kept telling them like, "Hey, yeah, we're gonna see Jumanji 2." Little did they know that we were like, nah, we're gonna see Little Women. If y'all want to come, you can, but you could see Jumanji 2 30 minutes later. Which I don't know. I none of the they were so opposed to seeing Little Women. Which is sounds like the Academy, am I right? But but no, yeah, I had a really swell time. I love seeing movies with my mom, so shout out mom. But Lindsay, what are general thoughts of this film? I guess before we get into this.
I loved it so much. I also saw it with my mom.
Hey,
It's one of her favorite books ever. She's like obsessed with this story, and she loves all the other adaptations, but this one was her favorite adaptation of it. So I don't know. I think I liked it so much more because she was just so happy afterwards. Like she was like, "This is the best movie I've seen in years," and like she was just
whoa!
yeah. She doesn't
I
see very
love
many
that.
movies,
Yeah,
but
yeah. But
yeah, she was
still,
so happy, and I was just like, I really, really liked this. Also, this is the first adaptation of Little Women that I've ever seen, and I've never read the book either. Um, but it was just so warm and inspiring and sweet, and I loved it so much. Um, so yeah, those are my general
nice.
thoughts.
Theo's a little different on this, so I guess what are general thoughts you got?
I actually overall did like it. I think
Yeah.
I it was a film where like I knew going in that my guess was I wouldn't be someone who would resonate extraordinarily hard with it, much like I knew how walking into Bombshell, I would not be the target demographic. But nonetheless, I actually felt Little Woman. Well, it's interesting because I actually did enjoy Little Woman overall quite a bit. I think that like a personal nitpick, which is not related to the film at all, is or not nitpick, but I just have trouble with period pieces, especially like Victorian ones. But I thought it was very interesting in that the way that this Little Woman was written and like acted out. There are like some parts where I was like, oh, this feels like now. Do you know
Yep.
what I mean?
I completely agree with that
So
point.
that was definitely very interesting, and I
It's
think made the film actually like easier to watch because of that.
thankfully
Yeah,
thankfully it's not one of those things where like I don't know if you guys noticed this, and I only noticed it because multiple people pointed it out to me. But it's not like Star Wars where like they're using modern vernacular, like oh yeah, squad goals, and it's like wait
Yeah.
what? It's just like the way they're talking isn't old English. It's just
Yes.
regular
right.
English.
Yeah,
They're
it's
not like
natural.
hey, we got that Little Women swag, fam.
Yeah.
Right,
No.
yeah,
No.
it didn't feel like
Definitely.
stuffy and boring.
Yeah.
Yes, I
Like
would
Uh,
they,
agree with
yeah,
that.
like when she, like we don't say Christopher Columbus anymore, but like when she said it, it felt like something that we would say, or like that's
Yeah,
capital.
that's capital.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. Yeah. When
yeah.
they when Timothy Chalamet. Oh God.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan.
Yeah.
When he was like asking her to dance and they dance, it was just so like, is this like a Taika movie now? But not in a bad way. Just like I totally didn't expect this like uh art like kids from this era supposed to be like stiffy and like bound and gagged or something. So that was
I,
very
I
interesting.
I get
Mm.
where you're going with, but opposite of that, inversely, the period queen, always subjecting us to these dramas. Turtle,
Subjecting.
yeah,
Subject. All right.
you love the period dramas. What were
I
your thoughts on this? And did you
I
not like that you didn't get those Victorian era colloquialisms.
No, the Victorian era colloquialisms, like I could give or take. I think it's more about the jeopardy of like things like marriage, which this film highlighted heavily, which I loved. But I really love, I really love the 1994 version with Winona Ryder. It is one of my favorite
Hey,
period pieces. Yeah,
shout out Winona.
it's fantastic. And when people were saying, "Oh, it's the best Little Women adaptation," I'll admit, even though I love Lady Bird and I love Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan, I was a bit like, "All right, all right," but I think it is. I think it is like Little Women. The 1994 version is absolutely solid, but I think this just takes it that one step further to, like Theo said, modernize it.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think this is something that I really love from Greta Gerwig. My God,
You
Greta
sounded
Gerwig.
like Gru for a second. What a
Greta
Gerwig.
Yeah, in her Vanity Fair interview, she was talking about period pieces, and she was saying that people of this era aren't living in period pieces; they're just living in day-to-day life, and really they were the most modern people that had ever existed up to that point. And like I just love that quote so much because I think our modern like understanding of history is so ahistorical and out of its context, because you get like the videos of stiffy, well, not even videos, you get like pictures of stiffy people, but I genuinely feel like this probably was what it was like.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so in that way, I absolutely love this piece. I think it's really fresh. I think it's really modern, and I think it's totally empathetic. We could get into stuff we don't like later, but the only thing I would
Or
say
never.
is, or never. Okay, in that case, I'll drop this in. The only thing I'll say is those time jumps between past, or like past and present, or whatever. It is a
Those
bit
Nolan-esque jumps. Greta Gerwig's playing with that time.
Exactly. She's a genius. She's a genius. I'm waiting for her Inception.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think if you don't know that story beforehand and you're not picking up on the lighting cues, which is like the past was much more warm and the present is much colder, you will be very, very, very confused by the story.
Yeah,
Um,
okay, I will throw that out. I feel like because all of us that are recording here, I feel like have somewhat of an understanding of like film technique. So when
Mhm.
Turtle brings that up, it's like,
Mhm.
oh hey, Greg clearly is like, oh hey, warmer colors, different atmosphere, different tone. Even at some point, like not really a spoiler we'll get into, but there's different hairstyles that sort of help distinct the other things. But I will say, like, my mom was having trouble picking up. She was like, wait, which timeline are we in right now?
really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, this was the first version of this. Like, this was the first version of Little Women I've ever seen, but I followed it pretty well.
Yeah, same.
I really liked the time jumps because I liked how it paralleled things. Like, I don't know what we're allowed to say with spoilers, but there's like a shot of when Saoirse Ronan walks down the stairs, and it's both in the future and or in the present and in the past. And the way that they paralleled each other, I feel like it made it so much more impactful.
for sure. Yeah, no, I can definitely understand that. But before we, I guess, get into other things, I'll let Margot do a quick general
Oh, yeah.
thoughts and see if movie good.
Well, I gotta say it. Movie good.
Hey, let's go.
Hey.
I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did because the trailers were kind of shitty. But I was like, I love me some Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan and Florence Pugh. Indifferent about Timothy Chalamet. So I was like, hell yeah, this is for me. And then I watched it in a movie theater full of only old women. And I was like, yep, this is for me. And then I had the time of my life. It was so
Okay.
fun.
That's what, man. As long as they're not talking too loud, all the women are some of the best audiences you can have for a movie, because that's how I saw Phantom Thread, and it was at an AMC like dine-in theater. So like most of the women were like, I'd say fairly wine drunk at the point of the movie starting. So I had a blast with Phantom Thread. But yeah, no. At this time of recording, my friend actually went and saw Little Women today. I'm still waiting on. I think she gets out a little bit later today. But she was like, "Oh yeah, it's sold out," and I was like, "Oh, that's so cool that like
Yeah,
this random."
I had to like go to 3 different theaters to find it. Because
See,
like
that's awesome
all
to
the
me.
theaters I usually go to where you like buy your seats in advance were all sold out, so I had to go to this theater where you can't buy your seats in advance, so I just showed up like half an hour early.
The old women, they can't thrive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I don't know. We'll just bounce around and see like what y'all's favorite aspects of this. I'll say this, because Margot mentioned this for a little bit. Um, I was a little worried with Timothy Chalamet going into this movie, just because like he's almost embraced like that's I don't know like how to even describe it, but like it is certain energy that I'm like, man, what's going on with this guy? But no,
Is
he's
it the
fantastic
fuckboy
here.
energy?
A little bit,
It's the indie fuckboy energy.
Yeah,
yeah,
but Laurie's supposed to be a fuckboy.
Yeah,
That's
he
true.
exactly.
totally is.
That's the thing. I feel like Greta, and this goes back to Ladybird too. She knows exactly how to use him to his best capabilities. So it's like,
Oh,
oh
yeah.
wait,
Yeah,
Timothy Chalamet can be like one of the best actors when he's working with a competent director. Um,
for
and
sure.
there's a ton of great performances. I man, I'm gonna have obviously Saoirse's great, but I'm not gonna lie. The standout for me that I was shocked with, I thought Laura Dern was incredible.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Florence Pugh.
Yeah, Florence
No,
I
Pugh
thought you were
stole
gonna
the
say
show.
Florence. Yeah.
I don't know. For whatever reason, like for me, Laura Dern just provides like the emotional heart of the film that I
Mm.
felt was incredibly used. And she's such a motherly presence. But no, you guys can go on about
No,
Pew.
she was great. Laura Dern was really good. But
Yeah.
Florence Pugh did steal this movie from me.
But Laura Dern, it's interesting, like what a kind of similar role it is to her role in Marriage Story, but also kind of a switch
What?
up. No, I think like
Oh, okay. No, I
yeah,
get what you're saying now. I
she
actually do 100% agree with that.
yeah she
Because she's
plays the
sort of a
bitch,
motherly
but
figure,
then
but in a
yeah,
conniving way.
in the conniving way, whereas Marmee is like just a warm figure that the
Yeah,
family centers around.
for sure. And yeah,
So,
Florence Pugh, one thing I thought, and I don't know if this is uh, Pugh or Greta Gerwig or just the team that was working on it, incredibly detailed performance that I feel like we don't get too often as much as we used to. Obviously, like it's a thing a bunch of people brought up, but even like notice her pointing out that she has a small nose and she doesn't like it, and literally like poking at it in the background, and it's not a big thing. Like it's not one thing that's like, oh hey, this is going to affect the fabric of time, but it's like, hey, these small things
yeah.
make Little Women
yeah,
a
they
big
just
film.
make the real people, yeah.
But
I like that she can convincingly play a 13-year-old.
Yeah,
well,
Yeah.
that's
it was the
another
bangs.
that was another
The
thing
bangs.
that I was gonna say. I'm not sure if I love the ages thing, or when they go
Yeah,
back to the time
when
skip.
she was 20 and or like when it said like 7 years earlier, and then when she was talking to Laurie in Paris, and he was like, "You've accomplished a lot for a 20-year-old or whatever," and I was like, "She's supposed to be 13 at the beginning."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Excuse
mean, the
me?
scene with her in the classroom is hilarious because it's
Yeah,
Florence
because she's
Pugh and then a
surrounded
bunch
by
of
actual
actual
children.
11-year-olds. Like,
yeah, yep. Because Florence, how old is Florence Pugh? Like 30?
She's like
she's
No.
like
22.
23.
Maybe
Yeah.
I.
Something like that.
Okay, maybe I just think she's older because she's dating Zach Braff.
Oh, don't bring that
remind
up.
me.
Oh,
No,
sorry.
I'm pretty sure there's like a 21-year age gap in that relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
But she was like really good at playing the youngest child. Like she really captured
She,
the
yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
See, that's the biggest thing is you guys mentioned it's like, oh, she's playing a 13-year-old, but even though she's clearly older, it's still like, oh wait, you're a great actor, so I'm sort of buying it. Like,
Yeah. I'll take it.
yeah,
I mean, My favorite thing was my favorite thing in the book, which is the scene where Florence Pugh, Amy is like, I owe everyone so many pickled limes because pickled limes is the cool thing in school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was in the movie. That was so funny.
I was
She's like,
really confused at that. I was like, wait,
Oh.
why?
That's in the book, and I googled it, and kids really did love pickled limes.
Those kids couldn't get enough of those pickled limes, I tell you what.
Yeah.
But Theo, what was your favorite, I guess, standout?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's tough to say because it is all like I I don't know. It's like just generally a pretty fun movie. Um, I don't know what it was, but something about the whole um something about the whole interaction between this is gonna sound like a negative, but I generally don't mean it as a negative. When this might be a little spoilery, but Saoirse and Florence kind of have like a falling out a little bit, and the way that they make up, I think, was just I don't know what it was. It was like genuinely funny to me in a good
okay,
way,
yeah.
where uh, natural disaster befalls Pew, and Saoirse has to get past her pride to rescue her sister in trouble.
I
And
love
through
that
trauma
scene.
bonding, they make up.
I love that scene because, like, as an older sibling, like, I don't know, there's just sometimes where that's happened where like you're mad at like one of your siblings and it's like, oh wait, like, whatever, I gotta, save them from obviously not in this case, but like a bully or something like that, like something you clearly don't want to do, but it's like, yo, we're family, so you just put it aside for a little bit.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah, no, I like that you brought that up. I was surprised. I thought Meryl Streep was quite good and not, you know, I don't know. I just feel like you could have easily just been like, oh, it's Meryl Streep, so like love her. And it's like, oh no, they actually give her like character. She's not just Meryl Streep doing Meryl Streep. And I feel like a lot of recent films, Florence Foster Pugh, or no, not Florence Foster Jenkins. Yeah,
you just said Florence Foster Pugh?
I know. I'm sorry.
That's so funny.
Because I think there's a couple of awards this film could end up taking.
Yeah, we can do awards.
Is this a lock for adapted screenplay? Right?
Do you think The Irishman will take it?
I
Oh.
think I don't know. I feel like this is the more showy screenplay.
I agree, but
Did
well,
I guess the
I don't
one
know.
question I
I
have.
feel like there's already been a clear like male bias against this movie, just because
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, an
people
Irishman
like
is
male
very
critics just have not been going to see it. They've just been fully skipping the screenings.
Wait, really? I didn't know
Okay.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing this out. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just going to say from the promotional material for this film, I thought it looked bad. Like I don't know. I wasn't too excited about A Star Is Born. Actually, I was excited when it came out, but when I watched it, I was like, oh, I didn't really like that, I guess. So I thought this would be a similar vibe where it's really well made, but you wish the rest of the team was doing something else. Um, and I think I don't know. It's a really interesting thing. Like it would be like if critics, like male critics, were like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to see Wonder Woman because that's not like catered for us." Like I I don't know. I'm not saying this like it's okay, but I mean it's one of those things that I kind of like that like most of the critics that are talking about this film are females. Like if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh hey,
Yeah.
like this is their time to shine. Like who cares what Armin White has to say about Little Women or Lady Bird? That's not
You talking about Army Hammer?
no Armin White. The guy who hates most films. I
Yeah,
guess I could throw
Armand
out
White. Oh, man, he's a troll.
I could
Lamau.
throw out
That's
I could throw out some other like David Ehrlich. I'm sure he saw this film. I'm sure he really enjoyed it. But like at the same time, sorry, dude. Like I'd rather hear some up and comers I don't know.
I think we completely get that. It's just frustrating because most of these critics that we're referring to are Oscar voters.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
That's
Yeah.
what matters.
For sure. I don't know. I just don't understand why the Oscars don't have like a committee. Well, they do have a committee, but like they require you and be like, "Hey, you have to watch these movies." Like just because Martin Scorsese comes out with a 3 hour long sad priest movie in Japan, like you have to watch it. Because I feel like that often happens, like where I don't know.
Especially with animated movies. They like never
Yeah,
watch all
they're
the
just like,
nominees.
"Oh,
They're like,
well,
oh, it's Disney.
yeah." They're like,
Oh.
"Oh, well, my kid saw Toy Story 4, so that's gotta win, right?"
They saw Boss Baby.
Yeah, baby, that boss being a baby. But yeah, no, I really hope. Uh,
I really hope it wins screenplay because I think that
Yeah,
the
it
screenplay was
should.
phenomenal, especially with the way that she wrote the ending. I thought was like so important because
yeah,
it recontextualized it.
I think we can get into a little of that when we do spoilers because that was an
Yeah.
important thing that I feel like transcends the movie, if that makes sense, and makes it
Yeah.
more than just like some random like, oh hey, we're remaking Little Women. And I don't know, Turtle, you can get into it if that's in some of the previous films. But another one I wanted to throw out, I think this is a clear cut nominee for costume design.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it
yeah, for
remains to be
sure.
seen. Rocket Man could beat it, possibly. That's one that sticks out
The
in my head.
Academy loves voting for period like pieces
Yeah,
for
that's the
costume
thing.
design though, so I think Little Women's got a really good chance.
And Suicide Squad.
That was makeup and hairstyling.
Oh yeah, yeah. But another one, you know, if Aquafina has to lose to someone, it would be cool if it was Saoirse. But I think at this point, like for me, I don't know. I'm after the Globes, in my head, I'm just like, okay, I get Renee Zellweger one, but I'm putting all my eggs in the basket that Aquafina's winning lead actor or lead actress. Sorry.
I hope so, because right now I think that it'll probably go to Renee for some reason. I do
Okay.
hope it's Aquafina.
But if the male audience isn't seeing Little Women, why on earth are they seeing Judy?
I don't know why anybody
Good
is praising her performance in Judy at all. I mean, she was fine, but she's been having buzz since it premiered at TIFF.
Yeah,
well, they love a comeback.
Yeah,
that's true. Oh man, I just realized I
but-
had Zach Braff's picture still pulled up, and
oh my
creepy
god.
little profile
Can
was
we-
staring at me.
Can we stop talking about Zach Braff?
I'm
please?
sorry. I was gearing up for my Scrubs retrospective.
Oh
No, but I also think
I do
this
think
has a play
Saoirse
for a
will get
Best
a
Picture
nomination.
nom. I don't know if what y'all were mentioning, maybe it doesn't, but I think this is going to be in the 10
I
Best
think
Picture
so.
nominees.
Mm.
It'd be a mistake
I think
if it
it'll get
wasn't.
in. Do you think Greta will get in?
No, because she's a woman.
So here's the thing I was going to throw out. I don't know. This may be in like I actually said this. I forget what me and Theo were recording, but we were talking about like some of the placements for people. And even though I said at the time of recording, I was like, man, I don't know if Aquafina or Lulu or The Farewell get nominated. I think there's going to be a late push for that film that'll elevate it. And I feel like Lulu's going to get nominated for director. Because when people are like, oh, hey, Todd Phillips, like, why'd y'all nominate Todd Phillips? I feel like Lulu's name got thrown out a lot. So I feel like Oscar voters are like, oh, wait, maybe I need to see The Farewell. Maybe I need to think about nominating Lulu Wang. I don't know. But the thing is, Greta has previous nominees.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, it's one of those things where, like, in my head, I'd probably nominate both of them.
Same.
But I'm
Same.
sure in the Oscars, they're sticking with Scorsese. Yeah. Well, if that. They're sticking with one woman, and it's probably going to be Greta Gerwig because she's a token female.
I mean, that's even if they do nominate one woman, because there's a good chance that neither of them will get nominated and nominate Todd Phillips instead.
I feel like they're not going to nominate Todd Phillips.
I hope
think they
so.
will.
I
Like,
feel
he
like
got-
they
My
will.
expectations
But,
really low.
But I also see an article like every now and then that's like the Academy loves Joker, and I'm like, as someone who like really likes that movie like a whole lot, like it's in my top 5 of the year. Uh I don't I don't know if that's the best option if you're trying to course correct from the year you made Green Book win and you let
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody win 4 Oscars.
But do they care?
That's
they
yeah,
probably
that's the
don't.
thing. Do they care?
Like I know we're all in the same sphere of like Twitter, film Twitter, but I don't think many people in the Academy are at all.
It's true. I-
The Directors Guild nominations came out today, and
Ooh.
the fifth slot, because you know the 4 are kind of locked, where it's like Bong Joon-ho, Sam Mendes, Martin Scorsese, and Quentin Tarantino. I feel like
Yeah.
those 4 are definitely getting in. They gave the fifth slot to Taika Waititi
Whoa,
Ooh.
that
for the
is.
Directors Guild.
That's what I feel like the 5th one's up in the air to where it can literally be anyone.
Yeah,
Like I'm not gonna lie, if the Oscars were like, I don't know, Olivia Wilde, I would be like, oh, all right, let's roll.
she didn't get nominated for first time feature film director.
Oh, what? What?
Ooh.
What?
I mean, but they nominated some really good ones though.
Oh, with Alma there?
Atlantic's Honey Boy, Queen and Slim, The Peanut Butter Falcon, and The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Those
Oh,
are
dude,
pretty good.
those movies are.
I
But
know
I don't know.
Booksmart got a screenplay nom for somewhere. I don't remember.
I think it
what
was original.
for.
Um,
Yeah, but I don't remember which award show gave it that nomination.
it was because I don't know if you guys saw this, but the WGA didn't get. They don't work with Tarantino, or
Oh,
there was
yeah,
one
yeah,
other.
yeah.
Oh yeah, he's not part of the
So
union.
there's 2 scripts that like left open a slot for Booksmart to get in.
Yeah,
That's probably
because
unfortunately
the
not.
Farewell wasn't eligible either.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
other
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. So it would be cool if Booksmart got nominated.
Yeah. Did you see for the BAFTAs that they didn't nominate Little Women for ensemble or like best
But
casting or whatever?
Yeah.
that
And they nominated
stinks.
Joker.
They nominated Joker.
Fucking Joker.
Wait,
Ensemble?
Best
it's a one-person performance.
Exactly. They didn't nominate Little Women or
Oh my God.
there was something else that I was thinking of for best casting. I forgot what it was.
Downton Abbey.
Wait, I made a tweet about it. Hang on.
No, I guess
Oh,
the other
Knives Out.
one.
They didn't nominate Knives Out either for best casting.
That's insane.
I
But
know.
they've
The other
They
one-
nominated
movies.
fucking Joker.
The other one, I guess I'd throw out. Do you guys think Florence Pugh gets nominated for supporting?
She got nominated
Yeah.
for supporting for the BAFTAs.
I think she'll
Okay.
get in.
Okay.
Did you see
gotcha.
that Margot Robbie got nominated twice instead of any
Yep.
woman of
Yep.
color?
I thought that was so
Yep.
funny.
It's so stupid.
Wait, for
Yeah,
what
Margot Robbie got
performances?
nominated for
Once Upon a Time in
Bombshell
Hollywood and
Once
Bombshell.
Upon a Time in Hollywood.
But you wouldn't necessarily call Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a performance.
You would if you don't want to nominate any women of color.
I suppose.
You'd call
They
that
That bothers
didn't
me so
nominate
much.
Jennifer Lopez.
Literally,
Or
when
the grandma from The Farewell.
if the grandma gets nominated for the farewell, I will love the Academy. Like that's
She
the one
deserves
where
it.
yeah, I'm like, dude, she was so good. Did the farewell get nominated by the BAFTAs for ensemble?
No.
Oh
Wait, let me look at the
Why?
nominees. Hang on. Wait, I'll get
no,
it.
but it was so fun. Someone made a joke about this during the Golden Globes, where Tarantino was up there and he was like, Leo with his amazing skill and craft at like being a leading man, and Brad Pitt with his bravado energy that is unmatched by anybody else. And then he was like, and then Margot Robbie for her goodness. And like
I
that's all
know.
I
I was like, oh my god, you can't say anything else.
Yeah.
said. Yeah.
Here's the BAFTA nominees for casting: Joker, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Personal History of David Copperfield, and The Two Popes.
That movie,
Hmm.
I haven't seen one of those, or I haven't seen 2 of those, but one of them comes out later this month, and I'm actually really interested in it. The David Copperfield movie.
Dev Patel Nation. Woo
Yeah,
woo.
I really like Dev Patel.
I
so-
love Dev Patel.
Yeah, he was definitely the best part of Chappie for me.
Yeah, same.
I didn't even
Same.
realize he was in that.
Yep, he sure is.
Okay, well, we're talking Chappie talk, so
Sorry.
we'll move on to scores for this film.
Joe is a lost cause.
Margot, what would you rate this film out of 10?
I think I gotta give it a 10 out of 10. I really liked it.
Ooh, nice. And Lindsay, what would you give this film out of 10?
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Oh, cool. That's sweet. And Turtle, what would you give this film out of 10?
I'm giving it, truthfully, an 8.5, but I love it.
That's fair. Theo, I don't know if we've done a lot of these reviews, so maybe there's no memory of it. Do you remember what I gave Parasite out of 10 by chance?
Oh goodness. Oh, well, you liked it more than Midsommar. I know that.
Oh, well, duh.
Oh, I honestly don't know what you gave Parasite on
Okay.
the podcast or on the review.
It's about there for me. And I want to say that's like a 9.1. I know I had the two that like stuck out as like 1A and 1B for me were the Farewell and Peanut Butter Falcon. And I don't think it's on that level necessarily because I feel like it's not necessarily a movie that's made for me, which is fine. Like I'm not like, what? There's films are for other people. But no, it's still a blast and an incredible comedy, an incredible drama. Just blends everything so uniquely. And then the last to give scores, Theo, what would you give this out of 10?
Okay, well, I don't rate out of 10, unfortunately. So this is gonna sound really bad, but I would give this a really solid 5 out of 8.
Yo, please, can't you just rate it out of 10? Context of this episode?
It's 5 out of 10, but that's pretty good for me.
Wait, no, 5 out of 8 does not transfer to.
Yeah, that's not the same thing. 5 out of 8 is not the same thing as 5 out of 10.
Well, it isn't, right?
You
But if
would
says-
you would give it a 6.3, just so you know. I just
Oh, okay. I would
did
give
the
it.
math in my head.
I would give it a 6.3. Yes, that sounds good.
Okay.
Oh wait, I should just do that from now on. Oh
Yeah, no,
wait,
you're good.
wait, maybe I shouldn't because I've already reviewed some stuff.
Yeah, no, we won't put it on your official reviews, but
Okay.
that's going to do it for Little Women Talk. Thank you guys for listening. And we're probably surprisingly going to do a little bit of spoiler thoughts on Little Women. I know if you're listening to this and haven't seen the film, you might be thinking, wait, what are they going to spoil? It is not some twist that, she wasn't a sister all along.
Oh, the plot twist.
Yeah. But no, there's some really.
It was a dream.
there's some really unique things the film does
They
that
were
I think
huge
we're
all
just gonna.
along.
Oh my god. The women were big.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for the review.
They turned
Thank you
into
guys for
Ant-Man
listening.
3.
See you guys, and if you want to check out any other reviews, feel free to do so. They will be linked at the end of the video. Bye.
Bye.
Adios. Bye.